Hello, everybody. Hey, it's us again. And welcome to another edition of Courtside with Christy and Gabe right here on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. I am Christy Winters-Scott, joined as always by my guy, I got it right, Gabe Ibrahim. Gabe, it's been a minute or two, okay? We haven't gotten back together in a while. It's been a busy schedule.
Well, we get to see each other in person too. That's
nice. What'd you say?
We get to hang out in person now, which is.
I know. It's like we get all of our podcasty things out face to face, and then we come on the pod. It's like we already said everything.
We should support ourselves when we talk, because we talk for like 20 minutes before the 16.
I know, and I haven't seen you, so now this is going to be our way to divulge into what happened in the first half of the WNBA season and prognosticate what's going to happen in the second half. But the All-Star game just happened in Vegas. I am completely jet lagged currently with zero sleep. So yeah, a lot going on out there in Vegas, but it was fun. I was sitting in a crock pot for about a week.
Yeah, you had a lot going on.
115 on one of those days. I was just piggybacking the whole sun on my back. Yeah. That's why I have a little bit of, a little sun going on here. But anyway, it's all good. It was fun.
No, I'm sorry. Look, the weekend looked amazing. From starting a Friday in the middle of the afternoon for some reason, Sabrina Ionescu put on the best performance, and we can say this without qualifiers, the best performance in three-point contest history, period, men's, whatever. You can find three-point contests in gyms and Berry Farms, right? She did better. 37 of 40 from the three-point contest, which is insane. The game was also crazy. Love to see Brittany Griner out there. Jewell took home MVP, right?
She did. Yeah. And, if Seattle, and I know she's on a different, she's in a different role for Seattle this year, and they're sitting in the 12th spot. But I tell you what, even if in the 12th spot, is Jewell the MVP of the league at this point? Oof. She's leading the league in scoring. She just got the MVP of All-Star, but the team's not doing well. What do you think? I mean, do you have to be on a top 2 or 3 team to be qualified to be MVP, or are you leading the league in scoring? Are you getting MVP of the All-Star game? Like that, is that speaking louder? Like you're MVP of the All-Star game and all those great players are there, but you were named MVP. Can she get that at the end of the year? What do you think?
If they're in 12th, no. Because we have to draw a line somewhere, right? Like you can't be when Russ won his MVP in the NBA, and I'm crossing over a little bit, but like when Russell Westbrook won his MVP, averaging a triple-double, all that stuff, they still made the playoffs.
Right.
And there were still people talking about, how his team success should look back on him. I think you got to at least make the playoffs. Preferably, I want the MVP to come from the top 4.
Okay.
But if Jewell gets this team into the playoffs somehow,
okay.
Then we get the wheels going. But I think at 12, and what are they? They're 4 and 16.
Yeah. But she's 25 a game.
Unbelievable.
She hit 9 threes in DC right before the break. 9 of them things. Come on, man. I don't know.
Well, what do you think? Do you think you could?
I don't know. I typically wouldn't. But I think, points in the first half of the season leading the league, that's one thing. But I think what weighs more to me is that she got MVP of the All-Star game.
Yeah, being the best player among those players. And
what's taking me. That's taking me.
And it's not like this person, coming out of nowhere on a bad team suddenly getting a touch. It's Jewell Loyd. Like she's not someone who can be in the MVP conversation in a lot of different years. So
true indeed. But
I don't know.
Oh man, that typically would not. I mean, I would typically, if you're in 12th place, maybe we can ask people who are listening, because we had some people at that Clutch Sports event. Shout out to y'all. That was fun. But hey, we had some people that are listening to us, Gabe.
Yeah.
So we should get some answers from people who are listening to us.
Oh, I was okay. Sorry, I thought you were gonna say at the Clutch Sport event. People were saying this. I was like, "What's Clutch Sports trying to do with Jewell Loyd?"
I know.
Why are they getting this message?
Oh no!
I don't think she's repped by them, but that's awesome.
Actually, she is
here, right? You ran into Jewell.
I did. She is repped by them. So.
Oh, okay.
But it's still, that's not why I'm saying that. Though.
No, it's a good point.
I'm on my own volition. This is my own personal take. But I was there, and they did say they listened. So I'm thinking, we can have some WNBA basketball fans, around the world, since we're, worldwide, we're global.
Here's my question. All right, this is not going to be
okay. Come on.
Well-defined question, and I'm
okay.
That's okay. How much better does she have to be than your second place MVP to have that poor of a record?
Dang. I don't know, man.
Because right now it's probably A'ja Wilson. Her team's just so good. She's the best player on that team. So much for them. Yada, yada. She's probably still in that. Breanna Stewart's in the mix.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of players. Actually, they're all in the Aces. The ones that I was going to say.
Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray.
Why are the Aces so good?
Got all those names.
All right. So let's say A'ja Wilson is the A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart. They're competing. Let's say the Aces fall back down to earth a little bit. They're not like they're the best team in the league, but they're not the best team in the league by leaps and bounds. Liberty are pretty good. They're second best team in the league. Yeah. They're not like fantastic, whatever. And then Jewell, what does she have to do to beat those two? Is it just numbers? Does she have to, get into the playoff race? What is it for you?
Oh man, I would say playoffs and advance at least one round. And that's not going to be easy, like you just said. I mean, there are some teams right now that are playing really well, and Atlanta, Minnesota has had a couple of good surges there towards the end of the first half of the season. I mean, first half of the season. But yeah, I think for me to consider her, I guess, they've got to at least make the playoffs and advance one round.
Okay. Well, we have to vote. We have to vote. Well, I don't know. You vote. Do you vote? Do you have MVP vote?
I do vote.
When do we vote? Before the playoffs?
It is right before the playoffs, yeah.
To make the playoffs. It's not, what are they? They are 4 games out of the playoffs, and the team in the ace slot just lost their head coach.
Doable. And we're going to talk about that. Chi-Town has some wading in the water over there. Good and bad.
That was great, Christy. Look at you.
No, I'm a PK, it just comes out sometimes.
Do we want? Let's just talk about it.
Let's just go.
Because obviously, I don't have this up, but my Dwyane Wade poster is here, so we get to talk about the Wade's situation.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Chicago, like you said, the good news and the bad news before we got on the podcast. James Wade leaves the team. Their GM and head coach leaves the team to go take a job with the Toronto Raptors, which seems like a great opportunity for him. He's been someone who's working year round. And he's not going to have less. He's not going to have more time off in the NBA. But this is a great opportunity for him. And it seemed like that was something that he's been wanting to do. Get into the NBA and try it out in there. So good for him. He gets to do that. We'll talk about all the things and the implications of that in just a second. On the good news side, Dwyane Wade buying into the team, putting his money where his mouth is. My dog forever for so many different reasons. The only reason I'm doing this podcast is Dwyane Wade. And so he gets to be in the WNBA, and it is just amazing. It's an amazing thing for us. So what are your thoughts? You can go either way, James or Dwyane.
I'm going to go with Dwyane first because it's going to be shorter, what I have to say, because I'm so excited about it, right? I mean, he's from Chicago. He has supreme respect for the league, and he has supreme respect for the players in the league. And that's what he said. He said it's a player's game, and he wants to support them in any way possible. And I just think that it's amazing that, that he has stepped forward like that. You think about what Kobe Bryant may have done at this juncture, had a tragedy not occurred. So I just think that he is kind of maybe thinking in those frames, right? I think he's thinking, hey, what would Kobe be doing right now? And maybe not, but I'm just thinking how close Kobe was to a lot of the players who are currently exceeding. We were talking about Jewell Loyd, right? Sabrina. We were talking about Sabrina. He's had his whole mentality passed on to them, and they're playing with him in mind. And Jewell Loyd said as much when she accepted the MVP award at the All-Star game in Vegas. So for me, I love that Dwyane Wade is taking that step. And I think there are going to be more NBA players who do the same. Do you hear me? And I love it. Flash, you did it. And I love it. And I love that he and Gabby were at the All-Star game. And he said, you know, sometimes it's not good enough to say, hey, everybody show up for these games, and you're not even there. So he said, I'm going to go with my wife, and we're going to sit there and support these women in their faces. We're going to be in their faces. And I love it. And I think it's going to happen more and more, you know. And, you know, I always say, consider the source. You know, when you hear negative things about anything, right? They've never won anything. You know, they've never won. They've never been in your shoes. They've never had the challenges that you've had to face mentally and physically. So I always say, consider the source. And he understands what the grind is of being a pro athlete, having passion for the game. And, you know, when you see that level of respect, you just have to shake his hand, man. If I see him at a game or something like that, I'm just going to be like, you know what? And I said it to LeBron when he was in DC. I was like, thank you, you know, for what you do, you know, for the WNBA and the support of our women who are hooping just like you, right? Or just like D Wade used to. Like, you know, I think it's incredible.
If I met Dwyane Wade, I'd melt into a puddle. I couldn't do it.
You'd be done and done.
Again, the only reason I love basketball.
A church fan to get you going. What'd you say?
The only reason I love basketball so much is because of Dwyane Wade. So that thought sent a shockwave through me. But I want the Kobe point is actually really interesting because, you know, I think it is kind of like clear that he would have probably been the first one to invest.
I think he would have.
I think he would have. And maybe he wouldn't have because of it's not the right business venture, but he would have been the most involved player.
Absolutely.
Throughout this point.
Yeah.
And so to see, you know, other players step up in that way, and maybe it's not even that Dwyane's thinking about what would Kobe do. It's just that they're so similar. Like these two guys and they've talked about it. They've talked about their competitiveness, about how Dwyane Wade broke Kobe's nose in the All-Star game, and Kobe was like, I called him and said, I love it. And
right.
Kobe was a psycho playing, right? So Dwyane Wade, you know, they just had such a beautiful relationship. They would walk into each other's press conferences. So it's just kind of like, you know, hey, thinking like, wow, these two guys are actually they're even more similar than just two of the greatest shooting guards of all time.
Agreed.
We're talking about two people who think the same way, who have that competitiveness, who want to be in the game, who want to help grow, especially the women's side of it, because of everything going on in their lives with Kobe's daughters and with Dwyane Wade's children. It's like it is so important to them to do it. And I didn't think about that connection until you brought it up. I thought that was really interesting, that little wrinkle that I put in my head, because, you know, I'm looking at my current computer screen background is actually Dwyane Wade.
Oh, wow. See, you get it.
Yeah.
But, you know, and fans resonate to that too, you know, and they just see the support, right? And if they are fans of Dwyane Wade, right, or even of Kobe, right, I think there's like that extra level of what is he seeing that I'm not seeing? Or maybe I should pay more attention, and maybe I should go to the game, you know, or the games, just like D Wade did with Gabby at the All-Star game and other games. But I just think that it's a great start. It's a great start to what I think could really become something, right? And Kathy Engelbert is talking about the expansion of the league, and there are several things that need to happen before that does. But, you know, as the league continues to grow, you know, 27 years in, as the league continues to grow, there are going to be more opportunities for our NBA brethren, okay, to get involved in that way. You know, you see players giving kudos to the All-Stars all the time. And even during regular season games, you know, LeBron was tweeting about Aaliyah Boston. Like there's a synergy there between the NBA and WNBA. And I think that should continue with ownership, right? And not just, you know, the tweets are fantastic because you have long reaching tentacles and you have a big following. So that level of respect there is huge. But I also think when you put some money down, right, and show that it's not just let me just show up for the games, which is fantastic, but now I am backing you and respecting you in a financial manner to continue to grow the game and the league, and not just financially grow it, but respectability wise grow it, right? So you're pouring into these women, and now you're going to get even a better product on the floor because now it's just going to resonate with the players that, you know, they see their value, and not that they haven't before, but it's amplified, right? Their value is amplified when players like Dwyane Wade reach back and grab hold of home. There's nothing like home. I don't care what you say. I mean, there's nothing like home. That's why he went back to Chicago to play. That's why Candace Parker went back to Chicago to play, right? That's why LeBron went back to Cleveland to win a title. So there's something about that you can't measure. It's in your soul and your spirit. And, you know, save it if you disagree with that. You can disagree if you want to, but that's just where I stand on it. It's a major difference maker. Yeah.
So my last point here is, well, first off, Dwyane Wade's best friend, well, one of his very good friends is LeBron James. And I don't know about you guys, I'm extremely competitive with my friends. If my friend has something, I want it. So hopefully that extends and LeBron gets in the mix. But I think it's another, to your point, you know, it's just another path to get more basketball fans to be WNBA fans.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think there's great stuff that, you know, WNBA does advertising wise, selling these players wise. But, you know, there's still such a deficit in the avenue of taking those fans that are NBA fans and converting them. Yep. Not converting them, just adding a summer sport for them in the WNBA. And so hopefully this is something that starts, you know, with Dwyane Wade, goes on to other players, and then just becomes an avenue where it's like, well, you know, hey, maybe I don't have a WNBA team.
Yeah.
I love LeBron, and LeBron owns the Sparks, so I'll root for the Sparks. I'll catch a couple games, and then, you know, hey, maybe they turn into lifelong fans. Maybe they don't. But I just love that this is an avenue now, and I love that my favorite player of all time gets started.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Magic Johnson with LA. Yeah. I mean, let's not forget, you know, what he's been able to do there, and, you know, putting his stamp on that team and his support of that team. So, I mean, he started it. Dwyane Wade, you know, is taking the next step with it, taking the baton. And so now he can go ahead and hand it to LeBron, and he can go ahead and do that thing. And then, you know, we can get that team in Houston that Beyonce can own. And I'm still going to push for that. Beyonce.
And then Christy's moving to Houston.
Sure. Huh? What'd you say?
Then Christy's moving to Houston once Beyonce owns the team.
I'm out. I'm there.
Christy's going to be out of the house. Christy's going to Texas.
The Bees. That's what we're going to call them. The Houston Bees. Beehive. Yes. Boo. I'm going. Yeah, Beyonce, go ahead and do that. That's just, you know, I'm gonna keep pushing that, putting that in the atmosphere, because you never know.
Well, hey, Dwyane Wade probably has her number.
What'd you say?
Dwyane Wade probably has her number.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gabby does. Somebody has her number.
They definitely do. Yeah, they have to have Beyonce's number.
Jay-Z and all of them. Come on now. Jay-Z and Beyonce. We need
that. Let's get to the bad stuff.
Yeah, let's get to the bad stuff. You know, I don't like to talk about the bad stuff too much, but it happened. And, you know, I just try to think of it as a player on the team first, right? And then the fans next. And then the other coaches. So that's kind of how I processed what happened. Like, whoa, what did the players think about that? And they're like, oh, the fans, they're riding them. They're, you know, they have something to say about it. And then the coaches who are now thrust into, we've got to take the baton now and finish the season strong, midstream. That's just a tough way to go. And I love James Wade, man. You know, and what he obviously won a championship a couple seasons ago, and he's a great coach. And I know opportunities exist. it's just the timing was bad. I mean, the timing was bad.
Well, no, but I just don't, to me, if I was James Wade, what choice do I have? If I want to be an NBA coach someday, then this is the only option. To me, if you get a job offer from the NBA and that's something you want to do, there's only one coming. There's not going to be a second one. And the Raptors just fired Nick Nurse, which some people probably didn't. The beginning of the season, completely unexpected. Would never have thought that.
Would not have thought. You're right. Would not have thought.
By the end of the season, kind of became clear it was going to happen, but it wasn't like there was a long period where they had an interim coach and they were already talking to staff, and then he talked to them and been out before the season. It's just unfortunate for all the people that you mentioned, and I think to me it's really tough. It's just really tough because this is how life works. It just is really unfortunate in the coaching world that you kind of got to go when the opportunity comes, if it's something that you want to do.
You kind of have to go, like today, like right now, like
the Raptors aren't going to wait.
Like you can't say
the Raptors aren't going to wait.
Why?
The Raptors aren't going to wait for you.
Why?
Because why are they going to wait for you? You're just a guy. You're just James Wade.
Then if you want me there, you're going to wait for me.
No, you're not.
Why?
It's a different, because the Raptors are, first off, their offseason program gets started here probably in like the next, well, they already did Summer League, but their offseason is probably already underway, right?
Yeah, but they have guys for that.
Yeah, but you got to be there.
Him right now. Have you seen, and this is not shady, this is an observation made by not only me, okay? Yeah. They have a plethora of guys and girls, right? They have men and women on the coaching staffs in the NBA.
Yeah.
Right? One is not going to make for me.
Yeah.
Okay, Toronto Raptors fans, don't, slap me around on Twitter or whatever. But listen, if I am the Toronto Raptors and we have a coach who is currently coaching in the WNBA, in the summer, mid-season, he's a perfect candidate for what we need in the fall and winter season. I'm going to tell him respectfully, we love what you can bring to us. And because you are the head coach of the Chicago Sky, we will wait for you because we have men and women in place, several of them, a litany of them to prepare the team for the season. And when you're done, whether that's championship, whether that's playoffs or not, when your season comes to a close, guess what? That very next day, you're on the first thing smoking to Toronto, and we have your desk waiting on you. We'll dust it off when you get here. But I just don't see the urgency to get him there instantly and have him drop everything and roll. I mean, why won't they wait? That's my thing.
Why would they wait? Why would they wait? I don't understand why James Wade is so special that we're going to wait. There's a million coaches. There's a million coaches out there.
Well, he separated himself. He separated himself to earn that position.
Sure. But there's other guys in Europe who have separated themselves. There's other people in the WNBA who have separated themselves. NBA, the G League. There's so many guys you're competing with. Let me tell you. Let's turn around the scenario here. Let's say I am a high school basketball coach, which I am, and come, let's say, I don't know, let's say December. So we've just started the season. We're in.
Talk to me.
And let's in the scenario say I'm the head coach.
I'm listening.
Eric Tebow calls me from the Washington Mystics. He's like, hey, we need you for this draft. We need your scouting eye for this draft. And you need to be here now. And if you can't be here now, we're going to go somewhere else because we need someone in here now for the draft that's coming up in 2 months. I'm on the first thing smoking. Like, what am I going to do? I can't say no. I can't say no to an opportunity like that for my own career. Yes, I'm going to make my make my players upset. I'm going to make the other coaches upset. But end of the day, this is my career. And if it's something that I want to do to work for the Washington Mystics, I have to sacrifice. I think for James, it's not. I just don't see the Raptors waiting. There's too many great coaches out there. Like you've met a lot of coaches. I've met a lot of coaches. Like, I just think so many of them are like, wow, this person knows a ton. And this person's a great coach, and he's a great communicator, and his players play hard. It's like, you can find a ton of these people. I'm not saying James Wade's not special. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that when the opportunity arises, there you have to, it should be too hard. It'd be too hard to even ask them, can I stay? Because if you ask them, then it's like, well, are you not committed to this?
No, I'm committed.
To the Raptors?
I am committed to the opportunity to be with the Raptors, but I'm committed to my team midstream of the season. I'm committed there first. I'm already committed to that. Right? Yeah. So now you're asking me to decommit. So you're talking about commitment. You're asking me to decommit to my head coaching responsibilities during the year. This is not February or March, right? We're in the thick of it. And now you're talking about commitment. So you want me to decommit to them to commit to you?
Yeah.
Come on, Gabe. Listen to
me. But the Raptors aren't going to. I'm going to be flat out. The Raptors would not have waited for James Wade. The Raptors would not have waited. They would have gotten.
And that's
Coach. There's a million people that have just as good as resumes as James Wade. There just is.
That's a mistake, man, on their part. That's a mistake by the Raptors. For me,
the Raptors don't care though. What do the Raptors care about the Chicago Sky?
I mean, they don't. I mean, they should.
Why?
Because I mean, okay, so that's like poaching. Okay, so what I would like to do for this,
give me a scenario.
So flip it.
Okay,
we're mid-season NBA, and a position opens up, and the coach bounces in the middle of the year.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I mean, it's not fine, but it's understandable.
Well, what is it? Okay, then what is it? What is it? It's not fine.
It happens in college football. I mean, it really does. Like
in the middle of the season.
Not in the middle of the season. Typically if you're going to a bowl game, it happens then. But like, there's coaches that are already by the time the season's out by mid-season in college football. Certainly, there's coaches that already have their next job lined up.
Yeah,
and it's like to me, honestly, I don't want that guy around. If I'm Chicago Sky, you want to go to Toronto? Peace, buddy. See ya. Good luck. You're replaceable too. In basketball, unfortunately, every single person is replaceable. Person in basketball is not replaceable.
You're right. I mean, you're right.
That to me is where it comes in for James Wade. But I do want to talk about the perspectives you brought up. So how would you be feeling if you're a player?
Abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, wow, I as a player, I took myself there like immediately. Mm-hmm. Like, what are the players thinking? How are they processing that? Because I mean, on the surface, I'd be like, okay, do you like get your opportunity on, and thanks for everything, coach. But internally, I think I would be stewing about it a little bit because, wow, what if one of the players just drops in the middle of the season and says, I'm going to the Eurobasket? Like,
shout out to Tim Charles.
I mean, you said it. I mean, where'd you go, man? You dropped the mic and walked away.
Sorry.
You dropped the mic and walked away. Oh my God!
I'm so focused.
But it's true. But I mean, that would be the same kind of thing. Like, you're committed to that team, right?
Yeah.
And what did that team do to you so bad that you would just bounce and roll? So I don't know. I as a player, I would feel abandoned. I would not feel that the commitment was there from the beginning. If it's so easy to leave without, being disrespected. Like, I mean, I think they loved him there.
Yeah.
Right? He was beloved in Chicago. They won the title. I mean, I think there was a good vibe there. I don't know the inner workings. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I don't know. But from the surface, when they came into DC, I mean, from what I saw, I thought it was smooth. It didn't look like anything funny going on. Mm-hmm. But it's just like in a relationship, if things aren't going right, you're being disrespected or abused or whatever. I mean, you have your reasons to like bounce and protect your sanity, right? But if there's no reasoning, I mean, then it's easier to drop the commitment It's easier to drop the commitment if you've been wronged in some way, is what I'm saying.
Well,
Then
let's
just
say,
be like, new opportunity, I'm out. Like,
but if it's a 50, all right, let's say it's a
that's taking
it's a big pay raise. We can be honest. It's a big pay raise to go from 4 months of a WNBA head coach salary to 12 months of a of an NBA.
He put year round the WNBA because don't they go scout? They're on salary all year, right?
He coaches in Europe, right?
Yeah, but doesn't he double dip? I mean, isn't he also scouting for the Chicago Sky? Like, he's not just on duty for 4 months. Like, isn't he 12 months?
No, he is on duty. He's on duty the whole time, but I don't think I'm not sure how it gets paid, but I'm still going to say he's probably making more. So it's another thing for his family, right? I don't think he left because he was unhappy. He left.
That's what I'm saying. That would make more sense to me. That would make more sense if you were in a situation where you did not feel respected, or you felt abused, or something was happening that wasn't quite sitting well with your spirit. Then that's a deal breaker for commitment. I don't care what it is, job, people, like. I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. So I get it.
If ESPN calls you tomorrow. Let's say ESPN calls you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Says, whatever. Rebecca Lobo wants to go on a 6-month vacation to Australia and the Southeast Asia. I don't know. Whatever. So Rebecca Lobo was out for 6 months. ESPN calls you and says, hey, we want you to take Lobo's spot. It's going to be 6 months from now. You're going to be in the rotation. You're going to be, second color commentary for the WNBA. But you have to start tomorrow because we need it tomorrow because Rebecca's leaving. Are you not going to take it? Even though you like where you're at, I'm not trying to say that the NBA is
I'm not going.
I'm not trying to say the NBA is always step up the WNBA. But it's not that the NBA is just a step up. It's a step up for him and his career that he wants to have. Coach Tebow, for example, went from the NBA to the WNBA.
He did.
He wanted that life. That's the life he wanted. That was the career he wanted. And that was important to him.
But he didn't leave mid-season.
No, they didn't have to.
That's all I'm saying.
That's the beauty of the WNBA.
He wouldn't do that, number one. He wouldn't do that.
But you know what? I'll tell you what annoyed me. Let's go to Becky Hammond really quick. When Becky got hired with the Aces, she finished the season out with the Spurs.
Thank you.
For me, I didn't like that.
Why? I love that.
If you're the head coach of the Aces, you shouldn't be coaching another team. You should be with the Aces.
But she's committed contractually, emotionally, tactically.
She's committed because she had leverage.
What'd you say?
She's committed because she had leverage. Because she could.
She's committed because she has integrity.
If they told her,
did I get up and walk?
You got to choose now. You got to come here now or be with the Spurs. She would have to choose them.
She don't have to do.
I don't think it's integrity.
She doesn't have to do anything. I just don't think that's fair to ask somebody to leave when they're not. The job. Kobe said, "Job's not finished." That part. Job's not finished. Job finished. Look. Job finished. Job's not finished. Boom. That's all.
As in the game. All right, I'm gonna change my camera back though because this is kind of annoying. Hey, I'm back in focus.
Oh, look at that! Jump the rooms.
I had to change it. All right. No, I get. Look, hey, if I'm a player, don't like that guy. To be very honest, I don't like him. If I'm a fan, I don't like that guy. First and foremost, something that we didn't talk about, which we definitely should have. He was the general manager of the team, and he traded 2 of their future first-round picks this season.
Come on.
Hypothetically, probably when he was already, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe after, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You did the move, and now you're not here for the consequences, and that happens all the time in basketball. I'm not saying it, but that to me is where I have a problem. Is like, did you make that trade because you thought you were going to bounce this year?
Wow.
If you did that, then I'd be mad.
Wow.
If you just made the trade because you thought it was the right trade, and then this opportunity came up, and this opportunity made a lot of sense for you, I can't as a neutral person.
Yeah.
I'm not a Chicago Sky player. I'm not a Chicago Sky fan. I'm not a Chicago Sky coach. If I was a coach, I'd be pretty stoked that I get to move up a seat. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know about that either. That's a lot of pressure.
That's fun. But you gotta love pressure. Your coach.
You do, but you also want to understand. That's a big jump.
Yeah, Christy, come on. You don't want the pressure.
I do. Pressure is a privilege, I always say. But I don't know about that. That would be up all night trying to get it together. Golly, man. It's like a bag of marbles and you pick up all of them. Golly, if find some behind the couch underneath stuff, like it's a lot.
If I'm I can never pronounce this man's name. I'm sorry. The new Chicago Sky head coach. Esmir is his first name. But if I was him, I'm going, hey, James, you want help packing? Can I help you pack? Like you want to get your stuff out here? You know, you can go today. Like it's cool. Like you can just leave. Coach. Like, but from the perspective of the general manager, that's the one that bothers me. And then obviously from the perspective of the players and the fans, yeah, we're out on James Wade forever. That's done. That relationship's done.
Yeah.
But like, I think the thing that really was annoying to me as a WNBA fan was that what was his mindset making those decisions in the offseason?
Yeah. And I think I saw, some fan reaction kind of stating that same principle. Like what was the intent and did you know and all of that? And he probably didn't. I'm just saying that he didn't know. I'm just saying he was just making those moves based on, with his staff and based on what he thought his team would look like this year without Sloot, without Parker, it's a different squad. So I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm not as I mean, I hear you, but I'm not as pressed about the, inner workings of the GM situation or his role as a GM. I'm not thinking that he was trying to sabotage the team.
No, I think he was trying. So this is something that happens in the NBA all the time. And this is actually a point. So NBA, general manager on the hot seat tends to make moves that are short-term thinking. I'm going to trade draft picks because we need to make the playoffs this year. Washington Wizards. We need to make playoffs this year. I'm just calling people out today. You just get called out.
I did not say anything. You said that. So
that is my opinion and my opinion alone.
Gabe's opinion.
In the past. Shouts to the Wizards brass now. They're doing a good job. But it's like, well, is there no chance that James Wade kind of felt like, well, this is not going that great for me in Chicago. I lost Candace Parker. I lost Courtney Vandersloot. Allie Quigley retired. I might not have a job at the end of this year if we don't make the playoffs. I'm out. And he left. So
yeah, I could see that being the scenario and the mind, the mental gymnastics of the decision making. I could see that being the issue for sure, but that's just tough. I don't care. Like you said, it like players tough, fans tough. Right? I mean, it's tough. And I think even the coaches, and I know you said it's like bingo, I'm moving over a chair, but that's still tough. I don't care. I don't care how many games midstream, like I don't care what level, that's still tough to do. That's tough to do organizationally, and to be that leader, because there's a different dynamic between an assistant coach and a head coach. And now all of a sudden you're asking for that dynamic to shift on a dime. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. And the opportunity, okay, yeah, you can have stars in your eyes about the opportunity to move over a chair. But man, that dynamic, now all of a sudden you're the heavy. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden you're the heavy. Monday you weren't the heavy. You were like, hey, what's up, dude? Oh, just rip them up, clap and drop. Now Tuesday you're the heavy. And that player is not going to listen to you the same way, man. I'm telling you.
I think it's
players not going to listen to you the same, even though you try to be heavy with them, because Monday you weren't heavy because you were the assistant coach. Now Tuesday you can come with this bravado. Not going to work. Period. I don't care what level, gender. I don't care. That's not how it works. And that's why I say it's like marbles on the floor, because now you got to gather and recalibrate and do all this. But, oh, yeah, guess what? You have a game in 2 days. Good luck with that. Bye-bye, man. All of it's bad. All three components of that choice for that team are tough, period. Mm-hmm. And I love James Wade. And this is not, I'm not throwing him in the mud or anything like that. But I'm just thinking full picture-wise of how his decision impacted all three components of that organization.
Yeah. No, I think we agree mostly. We're just saying different points.
Pretty much.
if you ever have a staff and you need someone, though, make sure you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm out. The second you call, I'm leaving. Whatever. We're out.
Dave's gone. I'll be considering like I do at restaurants. I can never decide.
I'm out.
Take a long time to decide things.
If you get on the phone, you need someone short notice, I'm there.
Yeah.
I think we are. We're obviously disagreeing, but I think my viewpoint is actually it's very similar. I agree that it was messed up to do to the players and coaches and your staff and the team and the franchise and the fans. Yes, I get it. I really do. I get it because I can't say I wouldn't do the same.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Unless any WNBA people that want to hire me are listening, I would never do that to you guys. Not to
you. You flipped the script, man.
Not to you guys. Not to whoever's going to hire
Flipping
me.
Scripts, Gabe. I don't know if I like that.
Let's talk about
Hey, we're tight because I know you're tight.
I checked the movie time. It's a little. I'm going to date night with my wife. Yeah. So
okay.
the movie time's a little later than I thought. So we got probably 10 minutes. And we could talk about more sad stuff with the Mystics.
Can we shave it? Can we shave it to 4? Because I have a Twitter Spaces. What'd you say?
Hey.
I know.
Let's save Mystics talk.
Save it.
Save it. Maybe we'll do a special Mystics episode like this weekend.
Okay, yeah. You know what? Because they have 2 games this week. They have Indiana. They have the Indiana Fever. Tomorrow, Camp Day.
Yeah.
With all the zazazoo of the babies in the building. I love it. With their little camp shirts on and their WNBA shirts. We have to have that on. And then on Friday, they play again on Friday for an Ion game at home. So, and then they play on Sunday on CBS. And I heard from my producer from long time back with the Mystics, Joel Kate. He's producing the game on the 23rd, and that's going to be on CBS. And it's Megan McPeak and Tabitha and Kim Adams.
Oh, Kim Adams.
So I'll be a fan. I'll be sitting having popcorn during that game. So all my people are on that game. So that'll be interesting. But I've done that before. I'll be in the building. It's good.
Well, it's the great stuff that they have so many games. Terrible that their entire starting lineup is pretty tough.
I know they're all injured, man.
Please just take my ankles.
I've never seen that. Like just a rash of injuries. Someone said it's the curse of the bobbleheads because all of them have the bobbleheads. And I'm like, I don't think that's an actual thing, but it is odd that all of them had the bobbleheads this year. No, I don't know. For some reason or another, they're all down.
If you're injured, though, you want to be injured now and not later, especially when you have a pretty good record. And hey, this is a team that, unfortunately, they do know how to play with injuries, given the last few years.
Yeah. They picked up Queen Egbo and Lene Harper, and they just got Saisha Gray
trade
out of Michigan. Say it again.
We haven't talked about the Queen Egbo trade.
I know.
Great piece of business.
I have the Twitter Spaces game.
Okay, we got to go.
I'm getting in trouble. Look,
we're gonna Mystics talk coming up. Don't know when, because I'm in basketball camp this entire week, and we are not taking our kids to the Mystics game because they're out in the gym. Okay, they're gonna compete. It's the last thing I do.
It's camp day. They take them to the game.
They're either gonna be competing in some highly competitive basketball games or running laps because.
Tire them out, honey. Yeah, tire them out so they get home to the mommies and daddies. They're ready to lay down. Take that energy off of them. I love it.
I love basketball. It's really great.
Get the wiggles out of them before they get home, honey.
All right, Christy, take us out of here.
I'm going to take y'all out. Guess what? It's been a joy to connect back with you. Thank you guys so much for joining us right here on Courtside with Christy and Gabe on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. Our next edition is going to be all about Mystics. We're going to bring it to you. They have a bunch of games. We're going to collaborate and discuss that and see what they're up to. Hopefully their health will be at the top of the list as something that will be a positive when we discuss the Mystics next time. But we thank you for joining us. For Gabe Ibrahim, I'm Christy Winters-Scott, and we will see you next time.